In the by-elections, and this is about with the ZANU-PF, in the by-elections, ZANU-PF's goal was to win at least 50% of the 28 constituencies. They are quiet about it, but that was their objective. They wanted to win at least 14 by returning its 7 that had become vacant, 5 by death, 1 by recall, and another by resignation, and winning at least 7. And among the 7 are the 2 that they won, which had been won by the MDC in 2018. They did not get their objectives. They can say, wow, well, yes, we did that. But the fact of the matter is, no, we can't have simplistic judgments about what have you achieved, what have you not. We have to measure people by their own objectives. They wanted to get 50%, they fell short. They returned the 7, as already indicated, and won those 2. It can thus be said that they suffered a setback by not meeting their targets. However, although ZANU-PF did not meet its targets, it is significant that it retained its seats to keep its 2/3 majority in the National Assembly, which was at 145 constituencies and won 2 seats from the opposition to strengthen that majority at 147 constituencies. The by-elections, however, for ZANU-PF were significant in that they reaffirmed a Boram-Sango pattern witnessed in the 2018 general election that showed ZANU-PF parliamentarians outperforming Emmerson Mnangagwa. For example, in 2018, ZANU-PF parliamentarians won in 145 constituencies, where Mnangagwa won in only 125. They outperformed him by 20 constituencies, not to mention the huge margins they registered against him in the 125 constituencies that he controversially won. This means that going forward, ZANU-PF has since perfected its Boram-Sango strategy, which it first used with the disastrous consequences in 2008, when it lost both the presidential and parliamentary elections. Their intention then was to lose only the presidential election, but as you recall, the 2 MDCs got 110 constituencies out of 210, and ZANU-PF emerged with only 99. So, as after the by-elections, looking ahead, ZANU-PF has a weak presidential candidate and a strong slate of parliamentary candidates, whose victories do not translate favorably for the presidential candidate. This, I think, is a new, certainly a different ZANU-PF. And how so? What is happening in ZANU-PF? And what did we see in the by-elections, which we might see in the 2023 general election? Why are these ZANU-PF voters who have perfected the Boram-Sango strategy not prepared to speak out within ZANU-PF in between elections? How come they speak only at elections? They are quiet in between elections. I think there is an explanation. Since Mnangagwa ousted Mugabe in November 2017, an existential threat to ZANU-PF, which presents a major reform opportunity in Zimbabwe, is the political situation of the silent majority of ZANU-PF members and supporters. In fact, in my view, over the years since 1980, the political situation and importance of ZANU-PF's silent majority as a critical constituent group with a potential to fuel progressive reforms is the one strategic factor that has been unexamined in Zimbabwean politics. It continues to go begging. Outside of a military power grab, as happened in November 2017, and given Zimbabwe's political history and its roots in the anti-colonial liberation and nationalist struggle that is then inextricably associated with ZANU-PF, it is impossible for any major reform headway to be made in Zimbabwe without the support of a significant part of ZANU-PF silent majority. This brutal truth has escaped the attention and understanding of the political opposition in Zimbabwe. And by political opposition, I don't mean anyone's favorite party or anyone's hate party. I mean the opposition writ large. Just like the political support of the silent majority in Kenneth Kaunda's UNIP was crucial for the success of Zambia's democratic transition in 1991, as was the support of the silent majority in Kamuzu-Banda's MCP in Malawi's democratic transition in 1994, and the silent majority in Daniel Arap Moi's KANU in Kenya's democratic transition in 2002, the support of Robert Mugabe's silent majority in ZANU-PF remains indispensable to Zimbabwe's democratic transition in the foreseeable future. It will not remain an open-ended issue, but we are within its lifespan, and it is indispensable to any possible democratic transition in the country. ZANU-PF's silent majority is the only major political group that did not support the November 2017 military coup. Whereas other political persuasions came out in their numbers and in full force on 18 November to rally on rally for the military coup under the Mugabe must go mantra, ZANU-PF's silent majority did not rally for Mugabe's ouster. They did not understand then where the coup was coming from, and they still do not understand today why Mnangagwa is at the helm of ZANU-PF. The more they learn about it, the more they understand and learn about the November 2017 military coup, the more they are alienated from Mnangagwa, whom they have not forgiven for that coup in general, but in particular for his ouster of Mugabe. That is ZANU-PF politics. We're not talking about other people's party politics, ZANU-PF. This ZANU-PF silent majority is politically bewildered, scattered, and restless. How it votes in 2023 is likely to tip the presidential scales. And finally, why is it, and this is really final, why, by way of conclusion, with the general election due within the next 14 months or so, why is it that the foregoing begs, and the foregoing, this stuff that we've been talking about, why is it that it begs an important question? And the question being this, it's similar to a wonderful small political novel that Chinua Achebe wrote about Nigeria. What is wrong with Zimbabwe? What is the trouble with Zimbabwe? Why is it that electoral politics do not seem to engender progressive reforms? I close by hazarding a proposition. It's because of the culture of entitlement politics, which culture has become deeply entrenched in our body politic across the political divide. Entitlement politics breeds violence, tribalism, one centers of power, corruption, and all kinds of ills that have come to define Zimbabwe's national politics. You've chased those one by one, you will be lost. You want to go after them all, unpack entitlement, the bane of Zimbabwean politics. And I think a useful prospect of breaking that culture down in Zimbabwe is really the search for shared values. And, we will not succeed if anyone comes with political values, organizational values, moral values, and say these are shared values. If we are serious about finding shared values which unite us regardless of our affiliations, political affiliations, that is, our cultural backgrounds, religious faiths, our ethnicity, our race, our language, and our generational differences. If we are serious about that, let us take serious what we did yesterday, which is in 2013, coming up with a new constitution that sought to address all the problems we had before that. There are many things wrong with that constitution, but one thing right is found in Section 3 of the Constitution on Zimbabwe's founding values and principles. There lies our constitutional values that can unite us as Zimbabweans. And I think it would be wonderful to do so if we could ahead of the 2023 general election.